everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I am here with Betsy Repaske, my favorite Colorado realtor. She's in Breckenridge in Summit County, Colorado. Hi, Betsy.
Hi, Lauren.
So tell me a little bit about where you are, where you live, and about your city.
So I am based out of Breckenridge, Colorado. Summit County has 4 ski resorts in it, as opposed to a lot of other ski towns that just have one. So we have Breckenridge, Keystone, Arapahoe Basin, also known as A Basin, and Keystone, sorry, did I already say Keystone? And Copper. If Keystone and Breckenridge are on the Epic Pass, if you're a skier, you'll know what that means. And Copper is on the Icon Pass.
Okay.
Aside from that, we have beautiful summers. We have a lot of people who come up here for summer who don't ski at all, because summers up here are 75 and low humidity, or I like to call them perfect patio weather.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So I've been to Colorado a few times for skiing. I am not a great skier. Why would someone pick Breck over Vail, Aspen? What do you think makes yours the best place to go and the best ski destination?
So Summit County as a whole is the most accessible to Denver Airport. I'd say is the #1 piece. To get to Steamboat Springs, to get to Vail, you would probably come into Denver, maybe Boulder, and then you'd probably have to come past Breckenridge, Keystone, Silverthorne, Dillon anyway. So a lot of people, since it's the first stop for big skiing, Loveland Ski Pass is on the way up, but that's a much smaller ski resort. So if you want to be in an area where we have multiple ski resorts, because like Vail and Eagle area, that's Eagle County, have Vail, and then a little farther in is Beaver Creek. But Beaver Creek and Vail aren't as close to each other as Keystone. You can buy a house in Dillon or Frisco and be about equidistance between Keystone, Breckenridge, and Copper. So that's one of sort of the nice thing is you don't have to ski the same resort the whole time. And while our homes are not cheap, but they are relatively more affordable compared to Vail or Aspen, and like Telluride's just way out there. So we're the easiest if you're flying in from another state and you want to make the most of your vacation and not spend like a day and a half getting to the slopes. That's usually the reason we see people pick Breck over other resorts.
I've sat in transportation from the airport to Vail in a snowstorm, and it
I-70
very long time. Okay, so since you brought that up, let's say I'm thinking about a vacation home in one of those beautiful destinations, maybe a condo, because I want to start out something. I'm not going to be there a lot. What's going to be kind of an average or a mid-range place where you are? And then how does that compare to a Vail in terms of price, since you mentioned it was a little bit cheaper?
Vail's average price point is a couple $100,000 higher than us. We have a lot of condos. So Summit County, we're very condo heavy. And then on the resorts themselves, we have what are called condo tels, which is the condo complexes that are actually run by hotel chains that are like run by Hyatt vacation clubs.
That's interesting. So
you get which Vail is more the condo tels and then big houses, where we have the condo tels and then we have normal condos, and then we have single family homes. So the average single family home price is going to be just over $1 million. And average condo price is going to be between 7 and 8.
Okay. So since a lot of your homes are going to end up being condos, if let's say someone wants to buy a home out there, it's their second home. I know a lot of people that do that and rent out the home when they're not there. Does that become an issue with condos, or are you all pretty friendly with that kind of a thing?
Everything's super set up to be run by as Airbnbs or VRBOs, some kind of short-term rental. The county does have rules in place. The biggest one is that you have to have somebody in the county who manages it, because this is kind of funny. We had issues where guests were calling 911 when they couldn't get in touch with the host.
Oh,
So like the toilet was overflowing and they'd call 911, and the police department got kind of tired of that. So that's where they made the rule that you have to have what they call a responsible agent in the county. But because we are a vacation market and we have so many rentals, short-term rentals, we have a lot of property management companies. So you don't, if you want to rent it out, it can seem steep. The property management companies can take as much as 30% of profits, but when you don't have to do anything, it's actually like, I think initial sticker shock is there, but I will tell you, having run an Airbnb where, you know, when you have guests in there, you're fielding multiple phone calls a day and you have to run over there because somebody, you know, they used 4 curling irons and 2 blow dryers at the same time and surprise blew the circuit, and you have to go deal with it. That takes up it's a full-time job. So to have a management company deal with it is, I think, worth what they charge. And the city and county as a whole knows that our revenue is based on guests, so they're very Airbnb friendly. Just so for reference, we have about 35 to 40,000 locals, and on any given weekend during ski season, we'll have over 200,000 people in the county.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So is the main, since you are a destination town and with 40,000 locals, I'm guessing that most of those 40,000 locals are running the industry there, the ski resort.
When we say 40,000, we're not including most of the resort employees because
Okay.
they're not here for census.
Okay. Interesting.
So, I mean, it is the coffee shop owners, the boutique owners, the people who work in the shops. We do have a hospital because, you know, ski resorts, somebody's going to run into a tree. So it's hospital staff, it's, you know, it's like the local business owners and those kind of people. But as far as, yeah, the actual resort workers usually aren't counted in that. So they're part of the influx we see during the winter. Okay. Is the resort.
That's crazy. So with COVID and more people, you know, I think there's a bit of a balance. Maybe there's less vacationing going on, but maybe more people are able to go somewhere for a longer term because they're working from home. How has that affected your business where you are? And have you seen any changes in the kind of people or, and, you know, is anyone moving there as their primary residence, maybe instead of a vacation?
So as a whole, we are very lucky. We kept joking that we were in like a bubble. While, right, like the pandemic and everything was still here, so we can roughly track how busy the county is as a whole by sales tax revenue, and our sales tax revenue starting in, I believe, July or August, from there through the end of the year, was higher than the previous year. So we actually saw an uptick.
Wow.
And our market, our real estate sales are higher than they have been in the last 12 or 13 years, which is as far back as our MLS data goes. So possibly ever. Wow. So prior to 2020, our average days on market was about 100, which, like, I'm sure you're like, because that's a long time in real estate. And in 2020, they dropped to 30 days. So just to give you an idea of what our demand was like, we have seen some people who are looking to move here full time. I'd say more so people felt like they could justify a vacation home because they could spend more time in it if their jobs were going to either semi-remote or permanently remote forever. Because even if you live in, say, the Front Range, which is what we call Denver, Boulder, Colorado Springs, all the little cities along the Front Range, if you live in that area and you're buying up here, being able to work from home even 2 days a week means that you could work Friday and Monday up here and ski all weekend. Yeah. And even like the people who do own up here, it's actually been harder to show homes that are listed because people, which I think has kept our inventory low, because if the kids are remote, people are just staying in their houses. They've, instead of coming up for 2 weeks over Christmas, they came up 2 weeks before Christmas and they haven't left. So some of the houses that would have been on market, people are like, oh, I mean, well, I guess we're using it, so we're not going to sell it. So like most of the country, our inventory is incredibly low. because of that. But I'd say that demand is definitely up. It's a little bit more reloads. We're a high price point to reload to.
Sure.
So it's more like Denver, the Denver metro area has seen a huge influx, partially because there's a number of companies that have moved in during 2020 who like gave up their Bay Area offices to move to Denver.
Which then I'm guessing is more cost friendly than the Bay Area.
So yeah. Well, and so what we have seen a bit of people who move to the Denver area, and then if they own a property in San Francisco, they can sell a property in San Francisco, buy in the Denver area, and buy a ski condo. So that, I guess, they're not relocating up here, but because they relocated to Denver, they can afford a ski condo.
Okay, well, that sounds a nice life.
Right? Yeah, it's a nice thing. But our other, outside of the Front Range, the other markets we see are Texas, and then we have a lot of Midwesterners. Like it's like Ohio, Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin. It's, I think, because us Midwesterners are used to the cold, so you might as well go someplace that you can play in it and have fun.
Yeah, so. I never really thought of it that way. I just know, being here in Columbus, I hear of a lot of people that do a lot of vacationing in Colorado, and more than when growing up in Kentucky, we did not take very many ski vacations, but living in the Midwest now, that seems to be so much more of a bigger thing, which is another reason I wanted to talk to you too, knowing this might reach someone or appeal to someone that I know in Columbus. So if someone's watching this today and thinking, I love Breckenridge, I love skiing, this might be something on the horizon, what is a great first step in just kind of exploring the area and exploring that avenue of buying a second home?
So like buying any property, my recommendations, my lights, is you want to start with the financials so you know what your buying power is. Okay. And the difference between buying a secondary home versus a primary home is that you can actually use the equity in your primary home to fund the down payment. Yeah. So that's especially because across the country, we saw home values go up last year. So you can pull what's called a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, and pull that extra value out of your primary home to use as a down payment. So versus going to get a mortgage first, it's a good idea to see what you can get in a HELOC if you don't want to like use other cash that you have for down payment. And I think that's an option that a lot of people don't think about, especially if their homes were going up, like the standard, like 3%, 4%, 5% each year. But last year, like in Colorado, we averaged 18%. I don't know what it averaged in Ohio, but
that's crazy. Yeah. I know that I can tell you that anyone I've even sold, I've been in Central Ohio for a little over 5 years now. Mm-hmm. And the clients of mine that did buy, the 3, 4, 5 years ago with me, that are reaching out to me now find themselves having now $80,000 more in equity, right. $90,000, $100,000. So
right, and that's where if you didn't want to move, but you wanted to do something with that equity, you could pull a HELOC and use that as part of your down payment on the secondary home. So figure out where you're going to get your down payment from, which might be your house, and then talk to a lender. And you can talk to a lender and me at the same time. Our market does move pretty fast, so some of the differences are being willing to maybe come out here and do some driving of some neighborhoods and areas of town, so you know what kind of property you want, so that you are more willing to buy sight unseen. Because my camera skills have gotten pretty good. I've got like a gimbal and I can go film tours, because if the right property comes on, it can't wait a month for you to get a plane ticket to get out here. So we have a lot more properties that are bought sight unseen.
That makes sense.
So I'd say that's the biggest thing is, and I think like buying a primary home, it's deciding what you want your lifestyle to be like in your vacation home. Sure. If it's going to be more of a summer property versus a winter property, do you want to be able to have guests out here, or is it, because we have some people who just want like crash pads on the slopes, right? They're like, we're going to come out, we're going to ski hard, we're going to cram our family of 6 into a 2-bedroom with a pull-out couch, because we're either going to be on the slopes or in town. Yeah, and that's fine. Or do you want to be able to have you and the cousins or your friends, and is it worth it to get a house? And I'd say the one thing we haven't touched on is that because you can rent it out, rental rates are pretty good here. So condos that are close to the slopes that are just over $1 million can cash flow $50,000 a year.
Wow.
So if you can cover, which makes it easier to justify it, if you can cover your mortgage and your vacation basically just costs you your taxes, it becomes more achievable than being like, I'm buying $1 million property. If you think about it more as like, after rental, how much does it cost me per month?
Right. Wow. That's pretty incredible. And you've piqued my interest and hopefully you piqued someone else's interest. So I want to also give you the shout out. I love your Instagram. I'm obsessed. You take amazing photos and videos, and the scenery is just to die for. I know we're lucky and have had snow this week, but it's nothing like the views that you have from some of your properties. So maybe someone just wants to drool and dream over your
Instagram. Please just like follow me just for fun. We're building a house too, so you can follow me to watch the house come together, or just dream. If that's the whole goal is to.
Where can they follow you?
Every single social platform is at Betsy Repaske. The lucky thing about having a unique last name is that you can get your social handles to match your exact name. So it's just
I get it. I'll also drop at the end of this video, I'll type that out so everyone can see it. Whether you want to check out Betsy's Instagram for the photos, or she said something here that it might have struck in some interest. I think we also have this conversation is going to take us into some other topics. So this will not be the last time I talk to Betsy. So if you like what you heard, let me know if there's something we can elaborate on. And I think if this sounds interesting to you, reach out to me, just reach out to her and pick her brain anytime. And thanks for taking a few minutes with me today, Betsy, and enjoy the slopes, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Have a great day.
Bye.